Hey, what is up, guys? I am here to give you my WCW Bash at the Beach review from 1994. Um, you guys voted for me to do a pay-per-view series review. I gave you a WWE option, a ECW option, or a WCW option, and you picked the WCW Bash at the Beach. And I did this in that poll in April, and I just got the chance now to sit down and watch the first WCW Bash at the Beach. So yeah, and I enjoyed watching it. I just the match is actually really good. I don't really know about the storylines or anything, but thought everything went well. So we're gonna start off. On commentary we had Tony Schiavone, Bobby the Brain Heated, and Jesse the Body Ventura. They went all on commentary together. Tony Schiavone was on commentary all night with either one of those, with either Bobby the Brain Heated and Jesse the Body Ventura. Then afterward, it played a WCW Bash at the Beach video package. It played everything that's happening, going to happen with the Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair match for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And then Darren Norwood sings the national anthem. Now, I don't know who that guy is, considering the fact that I wasn't born in 1994. So, yeah, That's my opinion. That's really all I can say. But he's saying it, and I don't. I guess he did a fine job. I mean, if you screw up the national anthem, you pretty much are like the worst person in the world. Um, and then we got the first match. It was Lord Steven Regal with his manager, Sir William, defending the television championship against Johnny B. Bad. Um, I think Lord Steven Regal's supposed to be like a lord from England, because Lord Steven Regal, by the way, is William Regal in WWE right now. He's supposed to be like the heel knight, or no, the heel lord from England, and I think he's supposed to be the heel, and he's against America, but I'm not really too sure about that. Um, but Stin was originally supposed to be in this match. But he got injured because he was having a match with Ric Flair on whatever the show they did, because they didn't have Nitro back then. And a fan had come out, and it ended up being Sensational Sherry. And she ended up gouging Stin's eyes, and then Hulk Hogan had come out, and Atomic dropped the fan, and then Ric Flair had attacked Hulk Hogan, and then Mr. T and Jimmy Hart ran out and made the save. But anyhow, yeah, like, so Stin couldn't compete. He couldn't even be at the pay-per-view, because he had an eye injury, so he couldn't even be in Johnny B. Bad's corner. But yeah, this match I thought was pretty decent. There was a lot of chain wrestling in this match, and Johnny B. Bad worked over the shoulder a lot of Lord Steven Regal, and then Lord Steven Regal ended up doing a drop kick, which looked pretty cool. And Johnny B. Bad did the same thing, and then he did a head scissors to Lord Steven Regal. And then Johnny B. Bad, I think went for his finisher, and then no, tried to go for a sunset flip, and then Lord Steven Regal tried to hold on to the umbrella that Sir William had out there, but the referee kicked it away, and then Lord Steven got rolled up, but then Lord Steven Regal ended up reversing it and pinning Johnny B. Bad for the win. But Johnny B. Bad, by the way, was supposed to be a character that was bad, and he's like, oh, it's good to be a bad man. I guess he was an alright character, but Lord Steven Regal retained the title afterwards. Johnny B. Bad beats up Sir William, gives him a big back body drop, and then he destroys his hat. So I thought it was fine. The match was pretty decent. And then Antonio Inoki gets an award for being a good wrestler, I guess. I forget what the award was for. And then afterwards, Lord Steven Regal comes out and says that he should get this award because he's beaten everybody. And then he says he wants to fight Antonio Inoki, and he says all you've done is beat Muhammad Ali and Andre the Giant, and then Antonio Inoki takes off his suit to fight him, but Lord William Regal walks out. So I thought that was alright. And then we get Vader with Harley Race versus the Guardian Angel. The Guardian Angel is Big Boss Man from WWE. It's just he has a new gimmick. This match actually was a good match. I didn't think it was going to be that good, considering usually big man matches aren't that good, but this match was good. Before the match starts, the Guardian Angel takes a cheap, beats up Harley Race and throws him out of the ring, and then Vader attacks the Guardian Angel from behind. He actually hit a Enzuigiri on him, but the Guardian Angel kicks out of it, and then he starts going off on Vader, and I actually thought what he did to him was good. He did a big body slam, he did a clothesline, and then he clotheslined him outside the ring, and then he went out and fought him outside the ring, and then he got distracted by Harley Race again, and Vader ambushed him from behind, and he took control for a while. He did a big clothesline, and then Vader hit kind of like a splash off the top rope, but then he hit a moonsault to Guardian Angel, but it ended up hurting himself as well. So then the Guardian Angel started to make a comeback, and then he went after. Then Harley Race got on the turnbuckle, and he went after him again. And then Vader brought in, what did he bring in? I forget what he brought in. Oh, that nightstick, a nightstick. And then the Guardian Angel got in, and the referee had gotten taken down. And then when the referee comes to, he thinks the Guardian Angel used it, so Vader won by disqualification, which I wasn't a fan of. I'm not really a big fan of disqualifications, but I bet they had continued the storyline. But I thought this actually was a really good match for two big guys. Vader's actually really athletic. And we got Bunkhouse Buck and Terry Funk with Cool Parker and Meng. I don't know how to say it. It's Meng. If you guys have seen this guy before, you probably would know how to say it. And they fought Dustin Rhodes, also known as Gold Dust. Or if you watch TNA, Black Rain. And Arn Anderson. This match came about when Dustin Rhodes had lost a match to Bunkhouse Brown, and then Terry Funk says he's going to destroy the Rhodes family because the Rhodes family and the Funk family don't have a good history. They have like a rivalry. And then after Dustin Rhodes had beaten Bunkhouse Brown in a bull rope match, Terry Funk and Bunkhouse Brown attacked Dustin Rhodes, and then he wanted Arn Anderson to be his partner, and he gave him his answer. I think he called it. I think it was at like Clash of the Champions. It was at a pay-per-view, and he's like, you have to know that you're gonna get the full Arn Anderson, and he agreed to this. So then we got the match. Good, and I liked the match. Dustin Rhodes was actually taking out everybody. He threw both of them over, both Terry Funk and Bunkhouse Buck over the top rope, which the referee didn't see because you're not supposed to do that, I guess, because for some odd reason it's a DQ. I don't really know why. Back then you used to get disqualified if you threw people over the top rope. I don't know why. And then he just went off on everybody, and eventually they got the heat. They started getting the heat in on him, and Dustin Rhodes went for a crossbody and got taken out on the outside. So then Terry Funk would beat the crap out of him on the outside. I forgot to mention that the wrestlers that night kept getting confetti on him because Johnny B. Bad's entrance has like a bunch of confetti, so it was like there all night, which was awesome. And then they dominate Dustin Rhodes in the ring, and Terry Funk hit a sick neck breaker on Dustin Rhodes, and then afterwards, after a while, Dustin Rhodes started to get he started to make a comeback. hit suplexes, all that stuff. And then Alan Anderson had him tagged in, and he finally gets tagged in, and then he DDTs Dustin Rhodes, and puts Terry Funk on him, and Terry Funk and Bunkhouse Buck win. I was shocked. I didn't. Alan Anderson had turned heel. I didn't really get why, and they tried to interview him afterwards, but he's like, "I'm not going to answer this right now. We're going to go celebrate." So we find they do more with it later, though. And then Sensational Sherry and Ric Flair get interviewed, and Ric Flair talked about what happened with Alan Anderson, and he says he's going to beat Hulk Hogan tonight, pretty much. Yeah, I thought that was good. And then we got the next match. It was Stunning Steve Austin, who is known as Stone Cold Steve Austin from the WWE. He was defending the WCW United States Championship against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. This match was awesome. They actually had a history. Stunning Steve Austin and hold the television championship for like 18 months, and then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat had beaten him for it. So there is, I guess, some sort of feud here. And I thought this was an awesome match. Stunning Steve Austin, before the match started, attacked Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and he just started going off on him. Eventually, Stunning Steve Austin went into the post, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat pretty much beat the crap out of him throughout much of the match. And one thing that I liked is he Irish whipped Stunning Steve Austin into the ropes, and then he went up going upside down. So then he was stuck. So Ricky the Dragon Steamboat started beating him down, and then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat just continued beating him down. He did arm drags. He continued to put him in like an armbar move, an armbar. And Stunning Steve Austin finally had knocked him down. He hit clotheslines and suplexes, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat just did not want to give up. He wanted to continue fighting, which was awesome. It wasn't like an overpowered thing, like you would normally say, like an overpowered. Like they act like he didn't hurt. He was actually still hurt. He just did not want to get up, and I thought that was good. Eventually, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat started making a comeback, and he hit a chop off the top rope and didn't go for a cover. He just pounded away on Stunning Steve Austin. Eventually, Stunning Steve Austin threw him into the guardrail, and he just started to work on the arm of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He really worked on him. He kneed him in the face. He just did a bunch of stuff. He just pretty much dominated the rest of the match. And Ricky the Dragon Steamboat kept fighting, and Austin kept clotheslining him, suplexing him, body slamming him. Eventually, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat started to make a comeback. And right when Ricky the Dragon Steamboat went for his crossbody, Stunning Steve Austin shoved the ref, and the referee was going to call for a DQ, but Ricky the Dragon Steamboat said, "No, I've been fighting this long. Don't do this." And I like this. It's like, don't call. He actually asked not to call for a DQ since we fought this long. Why not finish the match? And I liked it. And Stunning Steve Austin kept trying to throw Ricky the Dragon Steamboat over the top rope, but Ricky the Dragon Steamboat kept holding on. And then but the referee had continued the match, and then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat hit a crossbody, but Stunning Steve Austin had rolled him up, and the first time Ricky the Dragon Steamboat kicked out, but the second time he got his feet on the ropes and retained his title, and he got out of there. So I thought this was a good match. Forgot to mention too that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat had given Stunning Steve Austin a Tombstone Pile Driver. They called it like an inverted Pile Driver, but it was the Tombstone Pile Driver. So I thought that was awesome. But this was an awesome match. You should definitely check it out. And then afterwards, Arn Anderson, Terry Funk, and Bunkhouse Buck and a bunch of other people were having a party, and Mean Gene Okerlund gets in there to interview him and ask why he did what he did. And at first, everyone's saying a bunch of weird stuff, but then eventually they answer, and Arn Anderson says, "You're gonna get the Arn Anderson you wanted, and this was the Arn Anderson you got." So I thought that was good. I really don't remember exactly what they said because it was all over the place. I think they were kind of acting drunk. because they were drinking like wine and champagne and stuff. And then we got the tag team championship match. We got Kevin Sullivan and Cactus Jack, who were accompanied by Dave Sullivan. And they defended the WCW Tag Team Championships against Paul Rama and Paul Orndorff, who were like the wonderful tag team. They had a name. I forget the name, though. This was a good match. Something I liked about this match was I think it was Paul Orndorff tried to Irish whip and I actually heard of Kevin Sullivan before too, but he tried to Irish whip Kevin Sullivan into the turnbuckle, but then Cactus Jack. By the way, Cactus Jack was also known by Mick Foley, Mankind, and Dude Love. He was in WCW before he went to the WWF, which stands for World Wrestling Federation, which I knew. But instead, Kevin Sullivan, Cactus Jack put himself up on the ropes on the turnbuckle, so it didn't really hurt him. And then Paul Rama tried to do the same thing for Paul Orndorff, but what ended up happening was Kevin Sullivan pulled him back and did a clothesline, so I thought that was awesome. And then the heels dominate, and then they fight on the outside. They really fought hard, and then Paul Rama and Paul Orndorff dominate Kevin Sullivan for a while. They get the heat on him. Then eventually Cactus Jack, I almost said Mankind, gets the hot tag, and he's about to put away Paul Orndorff with the double arm DDT, but then I think the referee was just distracted by all the commotion that was going on because a bunch of people were in the ring, and Dave Sullivan was distracting the ref, so it couldn't happen. And then I think Cactus Jack went for a suplex, and then Paul Rama pulled him down and hold his leg while Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff pinned him, and they became the new WCW Tag Team Champions. And I kind of was happy about that because they even said that they were Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan were the real tag team. So I don't really think they were a real tag team. So I'm glad I actually wanted Paul Orndorff and Paul Rama to win because they felt more like a legit tag team. And then we got the main event. Ric Flair with Sensational Sherry defending the WCW Championship against Hulk Hogan, who had Jimmy Hart and Mr. T ringside, and Shaquille O'Neal was like the title presenter, so he held up the title, what the superstars were fighting for, and then he gave it to the winner. And Nick Bockwinkel, who was the commissioner, was out there as well. I don't really remember he didn't really do anything. Neither did really Mr. T until the end. It was a good first time match. This was the first time they ever faced off, which they should have faced off at WrestleMania 8, because that was a match they wanted to see, and they finally got Ric Flair to come to the WWF, and they didn't do the match, so I thought that was stupid, but I'm going to talk about that more when I do my WrestleMania 8 review. And they finally got Hulk Hogan to come to WCW. This was a big moment, because on July 4th, Hulk Hogan had signed with WCW, and it really changed the landscape, I guess, of WCW to get a big superstar like Hulk Hogan, who was just a big celebrity in general. And Hulk Hogan hadn't been wrestling for 3 years, I remember, because he was filming a movie. I forget what the movie was called, and Vince actually was pretty devastated because he said he would never go to the competition, but he did, and him and Jimmy Hart went there together, and this was Hulk Hogan's first ever match in WCW, and it was for the title, so how good was that? But this was a good match. I would say this was match of the night, just because I just really liked this match. It was the first time ever stuff, so they start locking, and Hulk Hogan's obviously getting the best out of him, so Ric Flair keeps going outside the ring, and every time Hulk Hogan would go out there, he would put Sensational Sherry in front of him so he couldn't hit him. And then eventually Hogan just shoved Sherry aside and went after Flair, and he continued to he just pretty much beat the crap out of him. And then eventually Sensational Sherry gets on the apron, and Flair picks down his leg and goes after Hulk Hogan's leg. and he's getting dominated. And one point, Ric Flair has like a headlock in him, and the referee's doing the thing where if you put your hand down 3 times, you tap. So he tries to do it. So he does that, and he does it twice, but Hulk Hogan's hand doesn't go down the third time. He goes like this and says no, and starts fighting back, and goes off on Ric Flair, and he's about to win the match off. No way, I got that one. And then Ric Flair went for the figure 4 leg lock, because he got gotten him down again. And Hogan tried to roll him up tried to roll him up, but Ric Flair kicked out of it. And then Ric Flair hit like an awesome suplex on Hulk Hogan, which was awesome. But then Hogan no-sold it, which I was fine with because he's Hulk Hogan. And Hogan started doing his comeback. He hit the big boot on him, but Hogan was just about to win the match. But Sensational Sherry pulled the ref out, and then Ric Flair went after Hogan's leg, and Sensational Sherry went off the top rope and did a splash, and then another referee came in, and Flair put Hogan in the figure 4 leg lock, and Hogan got the ropes, and then afterwards Hogan was weak, so Flair started attacking Hogan with chops and fists, and then Hogan started to Hulk up again, and he did his comeback yet again, but then Ric Flair thumbed him in the eyes, and hit him with Sensational Sherry tried to distract the ref again, and she had taken out Jimmy Hart on the outside, and Jimmy Hart recovered and distracted the ref, and then Mr. T just grabbed Sensational Sherry and I guess kidnapped her. And during all this commotion, Flair grabbed something that looked like brass knucks, and hit Hogan with them and put him in his tights and tried to get the victory there, but Hogan kicked out. And then Hogan eventually hit the big boot and the leg drop for the win and became the new WCW champion. And afterwards, he cuts the typical Hulk Hogan promo about what you're going to do WCW when Hulkamania runs wild on you, and he talks about the celebration and stuff. So the ending was good. And Bobby the Brain Heenan really didn't want Hulk Hogan to win that match, so he was pretty pissed when he won, so I was happy. Overall, I thought the pay-per-view was actually really awesome. The first match of the beach, and was really awesome. Match of the night was Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan. I guess the worst would probably be, if I had to pick one, maybe that was, I don't really think that was a worst, but I guess I could say that the opener. But that's really kind of hard to say. But if I had to pick one, I guess it would be the first match. But yeah, this was a good pay-per-view. For in-ring action, for storylines, I guess they were okay. You got to see that awesome Arn Anderson heel turn. That was awesome. The Hogan and Flair faced off for the first time, but it should have been at WrestleMania instead of here, which wasn't good. But yeah, that's my thoughts right there. I'll be back. I'll try to make more of these. The WCW Bash at the Beach. I'll go on and try to review the next one. But yeah, I just usually get busy, so it might not happen. But that's pretty much it, guys. All I have to say is peace out.